Hello everyone, my name is John Cassity, and today we are touring a historical train engine roundhouse. This roundhouse was built in the early 1900s by the Pennsylvania Railroad. It contained 6 stalls and was used by the railways for servicing and storing locomotives, and it also contained a turntable. The turntable looks something similar to this. Coming up here, I thought it was funny to see it says closed, come back 8 to 4, but the entire place is abandoned. Early steam locomotives normally traveled forwards only. Although reverse operations capabilities were soon built into locomotive mechanisms, the controls were normally optimized for forward travel, and the locomotives often could not operate as well in reverse. Some passenger cars, such as observation cars, were also designed as late as the 1960s for operations in a particular direction. Turntables allowed locomotives or other rolling stock to be turned around for the return journey, and roundhouses designed to radiate around the turntables were built to service and store these locomotives. Most modern diesel and electric locomotives can run equally well in either direction, and many are push-pull trains with control cabs at each end. In addition, railroads often use multiple locomotives to pull trains, and even with locomotives that have a distinct front and rear ends, the engines at opposing ends of a locomotive consist of a group of locomotives coupled together and controlled as a single unit. They can be aligned so they face opposite directions, and with such a setup, trains needing to reverse direction can use a technique known as a runaround, in which the engines are uncoupled from the train, pull around it on an adjacent track or siding, and reattach at the other end. The engineer changes operating ends from the original locomotive to one on the opposite end of the locomotive consists. Railroad terminals also use features such as balloon loops and Ys, or triangular junctions, to reverse the orientation of railroad equipment. Because of the advent of these practices, modern roundhouses are frequently not round and are simply large buildings used for servicing locomotives. Like much other railroad terminology, however, the structure has retained its traditional name. The alternative term, engine house, encompasses both semicircular and rectangular structures and broadly describes all buildings intended for storage and servicing of locomotives. Shops or workshops are buildings containing hoists and heavy machinery capable of major repairs beyond routine servicing. Some roundhouses include shop facilities internally or in adjoining buildings. Since the great dieselization era of the 1940s and 1950s, many roundhouses have been demolished or put to other uses, but a few still stand and remain in use on the railroads. Early roundhouses were too small for later locomotives, and the unusual shape of the buildings can make them difficult to adapt to new uses, but can be aesthetically appealing. In the 1940s, the roundhouse closed, and Ashtabula Iron and Metal Co. was founded in 1946 and used the former building for their scrapyard services. The company went bankrupt around 2012, and the EPA forced them to clean up a large amount of tires on the property. Also, a report received April 27, 2012, from the municipal court in which Ashtabula Fire Chief Ron Prestera told the court he had good reason to believe that the property had conditions in which may or may not become hazardous to public health, safety, or welfare. Additional information about the property came from a copy of Prestera's April 30, 2012 report to the court. It was in that report that Prestera said that inspectors carried a radiological meter with them after a contractor previously alluded to the possibility of low-level nuclear waste on the site. The EPA immediately investigated the site, and inspectors discovered ground spills, pallets, railroad ties, lumber, and thousands of scrap tires. The property has since been cleaned up and was left abandoned. So join me as we explore the rest of this amazing historical property. Dirty sex room is what this says. Okay. Not sure if I should go in there. Hello. It's empty. Okay. And, anything back here? Look how old this looks, guys, with the way those windows are up here. I'm wondering if this was actually a separate building in here, and they built this like whole entire building around, you know, this little one here. This looks to be another office area. Definitely getting some spooky vibes here, guys. This is definitely haunted. Ooh, look how creepy it is in here. Ooh, okay. Some more workers' clothing. Some boot. What do we got over here? Boiler room, possibly. There's a furnace. And I could step outside here and see what's around the back. So right here, guys, was where the trains would probably go in and out of the building. And you can just see how old this place is. So it's really cool. This building here was probably used as offices for the scrapyard, but it had caught on fire and it was really gross, so I didn't explore the inside of this one. Hello. Oh, these look pretty rough, guys. They're all burnt out in here. So we're probably like some offices for the rail yard. So, and here is possibly like a cooling tank. So, happens to be a train passing right over there. Pretty cool. Back here, guys, there's another big warehouse back here. I'm not sure if it was part of the Roundhouse or not, but I'm gonna just take a peek in there real fast before we end this exploration. And see over here, this building's all boarded up, but it almost looks kind of like a little train station right there too. Not 100% sure. All right, we'll check out this big warehouse here. Hello. Wow. See if I can zoom in. Yep, just a big empty space. Not much to see, I guess. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude my video tour of this historical train engine roundhouse. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.